Eat it. No, that's shrimp. Eat it. No, it's not eating. I see the ball.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we're going to feed the octopus. This is the giant Pacific octopus. This is the largest kind of octopus in the world. They're not the largest example of them. She's just a small one. They can grow up to 50 to 70 to 100 pounds or larger, even up to about 30 feet in length. But very seldom they're in one piece in there to get that size, because usually something predates them. There's something that eats them. If you look, when this, if we can kind of spread out a little bit on her arms, you can actually see one arm was actually bitten off. And what we're doing right now, she's giving her a piece of shrimp. We're trying to see if she can get her away from that little ball. That's what she was holding on to. Notice the color change on her body. That is a adaptation. She has these cells called chromatophores that change her color, so that she can change. That's actually a form of camouflage, because that red color actually turns brown. You go 20 feet underwater.
Here it comes.
So it doesn't really look really bright except in very shallow water. I don't know if you're bold enough to want to take that ball away from her, but yeah, I'm not sure how you do it. Yeah, should we give her a ball, because we want to give her a toy, something to play with, because they need interactions. Very intelligent animal, so they kind of get bored and they kind of bang themselves against the wall. They have nothing to do, so we want to give her a toy. So every day we give her something different. So she's kind of coaxing her around to see if she can get her to pull. Yeah, she doesn't. That's her favorite toy. So we try to do that sparingly, because that's something like, you know, she'll just stay with it and not take it away. But you see the hole in it. When typically what we do, we have a toy. We'll have a hole. We'll put a piece of shrimp inside, and it kind of gives her something to want to, an incentive to want to go after it, and then hold on to it for a while. So it keeps her preoccupied. So she can hold on to something and then be able to manipulate it. Sometimes it's a cylinder, sometimes it might be a square, it might be a round shape, we don't know. But she seems to like this one the most of all, because that's something that's big, she can really grab a hold of.
If their legs get cut, can they come back? Like
Yes, that's what I was pointing out. On one arm, I'm not sure which one, you might take a look closely. You see that one at the top? I think that's that top arm. That you might see that she actually was cut off. But the way we can tell, because the suckers are much smaller at the tip than they were earlier in the on the body, and that's where they got cut off, and it regenerated that in the wild. They don't do that very well in captivity. When we get an octopus, we want all 8 arms, everything healthy, because we don't want an animal that's injured, because it may not heal very well in captivity. So now she's got a piece of shrimp. This is a part of what food they like to eat. They typically like to eat crustaceans. Their favorite food is shrimp and crab. We're going to feed her a piece of crab later, but we want to get her kind of stimulated to want to hunt with having the shrimp, because that's something that she usually will attack her. And their suckers are very sensitive, and she can smell the difference between a predator and prey, so she will go after the shrimp and attack it. What she wants to do is, we want to simulate like it's alive, so we'll kind of tease her a little bit to kind of want her to chase after it. Oh, anybody here? Come on up front. Anybody small? Come on up front. I'm sorry. Here you go. Everybody up front. Because it's very quick, and she doesn't take much time to do that. Yes, well, the mouth is actually where the ball is covering the mouth. That's the problem. We want to kind of get the ball away from her, so that, yeah, right there. She's got to get that thing away, because she likes to play with her little ball, so she doesn't want to get that away. She can move it around. Every once in a while, you might actually see suckers discs in the water. She actually has to rub those off to keep that sense of smell very intact. So she'll actually will scrape off some of that skin, so that she can see what's going on. And if you notice down to the bottom, that sac right there, that is the mantle. That's where all the internal organs are. And that's where she'd have her stomach and intestines and 3 hearts. She has to have 3 hearts because her blood is very, very poor circulating blood. It's basically, she's related to a mollusk, like a snail. So in order to move faster, she has to have more hearts. Her blood is very inefficient, copper base. Yeah, she's got a hold of it. Now you can see the siphon on the side of the body. That's how she breathes out. Yeah, she's holding on to it. She doesn't want to let go of the ball. She is very strong animal.
Can they stick the thing in the hole of the ball and pull it off?
Yep.
Take the ball out.
No, I know. It's too deep. It's too deep. Got to see if we bring it up to the surface. I don't know. She keeps grabbing a hold of it. She doesn't want to let go of it.
Can they stick the thing in the hole of the ball and pull it out?
Yeah, no, she's a...
He's trying to get the ball. No.
Yeah, he's stick
Who's holding the fly? drop the stick?
Sometimes she grabs all the sticks. She don't want to let go of it. That's what happened last week. I was trying to get the stick away from her. She didn't want to let go of it. So you have to be very careful. And we don't want to injure her. One thing we don't want to do, we used to do it a lot, is have her hands in the water. We used to interact with the animal much more, and we found that stressed them out. We didn't know, but it's just a lot. They don't encounter that in the wild, so we didn't realize that was a very stressful thing, so we don't want to handle it. In fact, even the crab that we have, we don't even give them a regular crab with a shell on it because there's too much debris. We have to spend a lot of time cleaning after it, and that's just more intrusion. So we give it a soft shell crab. That way it eats everything, because octopus basically retains over 80% of what it eats. So it can get very big very quickly. So it's able to digest a lot of material that's waste for a lot of other animals. It's able to digest that. It's got to get huge. Some of these animals, like this animal, could easily get 3 or 4 times that size within 6 months, if it's eating whatever it wants. But it may not live very long after that. That's the thing. We want to get the animal to live a long time. Being a female, she could lay eggs within the next few weeks. And then when she does, she doesn't want to really do this too much. She wants to stay with her eggs. She won't mess around with interacting or moving around the tank much. She will stay in what she would like to be is a cave. We don't have a cave because then you'll never see her. So we have her out there, and she would actually, this black material you see on the back wall is actually the adhesive from previous eggs that have been laid. And they lay that in the wild. They would lay it on a wall and stick their eggs to the wall and blow water on them to keep them circulated so debris doesn't settle on them, because it'll smother them and kill them.
What about her eyesight?
Opening and closing.
Yeah, that's the right there. You see that flap opening? That's where the gill slit is, and she has gills behind that, and that siphon on the side is where she breathes out. So she actually will even occasionally bring her gills and pull her gills out of her body and clean them out. Use rubber arms through it and then stick them back in. So she has to keep her body so she can breathe. There's all kinds of debris floating around, so we have to keep the water very clean. That's why you see it very, because in the wild actually it's very murky because there's a lot of plankton. She lives in the Pacific Northwest, up from Northern California up to Alaska, and the water there is very murky with a lot of plankton in the water, which is great for baby octopus. Not too good for us because we can't reproduce that because it's very difficult to keep that clean.
What about her eyesight?
Oh, her eyesight's very good, but she's living in murky water a lot of times, so she can't see. She's more sensitive to visual stimulation, something moving in the water, as opposed to color. She can't really determine color, but there's not a lot of color underwater much to look at anyway. So, sorry, question?
Will she ever let go of the ball?
Eventually, we are praying that she will actually get that ball out of there so we can give her something else to play with, because we got to give her something different. Yes?
What's her name?
Oh, Augusta, because we got her last August. A year ago, August. So she's been here about a year and a half.
Did you find her in Maine?